Hey, what's up, my guys? This is Blue Fox coming at you with another podcast. This episode in particular, I know I'm a little late, but I wanted to do this with respect and I wanted to do it with quality that it deserved. But this particular episode is dedicated to the life and celebration of Jason David Frank. For those of you who don't know, which I doubt that there's not many people who don't know who he is. Jason David Frank was the actor that played in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He played he played the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger, and the White Ranger at points of time. And I just wanted to go over basically his life, what he meant to me and my life in particular, because he is still a legend to me. He was my childhood hero, and there was a lot of good memories formed around him. So I just hope that when he left this world, he understood that he had done so much for so many people, and that won't be forgotten. Now, as I was researching more of the productions that Jason David Frank was in, I came across The Legend of the White Dragon, which we are still waiting on. That is due to release, I think, sometime next year, 2023. That will also have Jason Font in it, Johnny Young Bosch, Sierra Hanna, Serena Vincent, Mark Dacascos, a lot of other characters, but I just wanted to really go over all the movies that he's been in. Of course, we know him, at least I know him best in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That was the very first series and the very first movie that I was introduced to as far as the Power Rangers go. He was also in Turbo as the Red Ranger, Power Rangers Legacy Wars, The One Warrior that was released in 2011, Fall Guy in 2007, the Junior Defenders in 2007, Omniboat, which came out in 2020. Apparently, that particular movie I have not seen, but it is on my list. It's about a speedboat and the end of human civilization, so I may have to check that out. He was also in a movie called Paris that came out in 2003. That was a crime thriller. He's been in a lot of movies, and it wouldn't surprise me because he's such a good actor and he's so versatile in his skills. I was listening to an interview a while back, and he was talking about how just like out of high school, he was teaching karate. He bought 2 schools, I think it was, and I don't know, the guy's done a lot, which is incredible. Now, as mentioned before, I first remember watching the Mighty Morphin series, and that is still by far my favorite one. I followed Power Rangers for quite a while. Now, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the series actually came out and premiered on August 28 of 1993. It was a Fox Kids series, and they did a remake of it later on in 2010, but I think they did some replays 1996 to 7, I want to say. I'm not 100% on that, but I just remember that was the golden moment of childhood, was getting off of the school bus, and my parents were working by the time I got out of school. So, I would get off the bus and wait at my grandma's until they got there, and my neighbor, my best friend, we would come over and just sit down and watch Power Rangers, eat some snacks. And I remember our favorite thing was like ginger snap cookies while we were watching that, cookies and milk type of deal. And we would just enjoy it. And I remember all the putty scenes that would come on. We would get up and reenact it and be fighting off these bad guys along with the Power Rangers. Like, there was no cap on the imagination there. Like, childhood was prime for that. But there were some good times, and I remember as the story evolved, of course, we got into Power Rangers Zeo, and then we got into Turbo, and then we went into Power Rangers in Space, and that's kind of where I fell off there. But so with me first being introduced to the Mighty Morphin series first, that is still my favorite one. And I have to say, because of the features that the Rangers had, like they had the Megazords that would morph, and it was like Transformers and I don't want to say Marvel. Not really Marvel, but I don't know. It's a combination. Okay, so put it like this. It was kind of like having Transformers and a version of Marvel superheroes together. Like, it was cool. I liked how they did that, and still to this day, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is probably my favorite series. My second favorite would probably be I'm gonna go with Zeo on that one. Again, I know that was the next one in the series, but that one, and the only reason why that one fell into one of my favorites is because the computer game was so awesome, and I kind of liked what was the villain guy? He was a cool villain, you know, if you can say that about a villain, but oh my gosh, I'm having like flashbacks from back when. But anyways, King Mondo was a cool villain, I thought. But anyways, Power Rangers Zeo, that one came out in 1996. So I was like 5 years old when that came out. And I like the storyline. Not that I didn't like Mighty Morphin's storyline. It's just the Machine Empire was dope. And I guess that kind of leads me to today with my obsession with steampunk stuff. But anyways, I just remember the computer game started out with Tommy. He was in I think he was Red Ranger 4. I want to say, yeah, Zeo Ranger, I'm sorry. Yeah, Red Zeo Ranger 4 was Tommy. I'm trying to remember the other ones. Green was 3, blue I think was Zeo Ranger 1. I have to look back at that. But anyways, I just remember the computer game started out like he had dropped down into the city and he was going through fighting these putties and different like, I guess they were apartment buildings or whatever, and you had to kind of climb your way to the top while fighting these guys. And of course, as the stages went on, you eventually led up to fighting King Mondo and Queen Machina. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think it was just Queen Machina, or I think Mahina is technically how you say it. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. They were just a step up from Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa, but I really like the way they made the villains on that. But yeah, man, good memories overall. And I have to say, in every single one of them, the Power Rangers were realistic heroes. I think that's one thing that I like best about the Power Rangers actually, was that it wasn't like Marvel and DC, they just felt different. Like their heroes, especially Marvel, like they got exposed to some toxic chemical and now they have superpowers, or you know, they were the result of this experiment, or they were some god, or of course, like, okay, Batman was different because he just had gadgets and a whole lot of dark past driving his, you know, his reality. But with the Power Rangers, it just seemed like they were more realistic because they were kids, they were all hanging out, they had bullies that were kind of like not bullies. Like Bulk and Skull were pretty much just goofy. But they had their bullies here and there, and I don't know, it was just cool. Like they were just trying to get by in high school, chilling and living their daily life. But they were selected, and you know, it gave rise to who they still are today in the legend. Power Rangers, man, you can't go wrong. And I must say, now more so than back then, the episode Green with Evil is now one of my favorites because now I understand it in a different way. If you guys go back and listen to the Philosopher's Stone podcast featuring Alexander Paetzel, either part 1 or part 2, I think we go through both segments touching on the shadow of the human persona. And I think Power Rangers did an excellent job presenting that to children at that time. As the Green Ranger going through that evil spurt, he kind of became indulged his shadow and got consumed by it. And that, going back and watching that now, I'm like, gosh, that was freaking fantastic. Jason David Frank did an absolute phenomenal job, as with every take, every scene was perfect. But that particular episode, or episodes, I think it was 2, they really dove into some dark psychology, and I really enjoyed that. But now I understand it more so than then, of course, but excellent all around, very well written. So let's go beyond the Power Rangers into the life of Jason David Frank as far as the martial arts world, because this guy was incredible, absolutely incredible, and legendary, absolutely legendary. At just the age of 4, he started training at Red Dragon Karate. He was under the master Shihan Louis D. Kasamasa. And that basically led to him having such a beautiful flow in the martial art that you saw in Power Rangers and the other films that he was in, where he exhibited this type of energy, which was kind of cool. And he just kept going. And at just age 12, 8 years later, he had already earned a first-degree black belt. And after he received that, he started teaching at the Red Dragon and just continued to stack upon the knowledge that he had already known. And at age 19, that's where he was broadcasted for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and he just, went on from there. Absolutely incredible. And of course, that series is still a legend today, and I don't think it will ever lose its traction in that realm. But again, going back to the martial arts world. So in 1996, he was introduced to another successful martial artist who became known as a lifelong friend, Shihan Rick Herbster, and he was the owner of the Rising Sun Karate Academy, which is located in New Jersey. And Jason David Frank, he was Hanshi. Hanshi Frank had trained with some of the top martial artists in the entire world. And not only did he train with him, he became inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame and was awarded various awards for his excellence in martial arts. So, like I said, the guy is an absolute legend and will always be. And I think that's one thing that we can commemorate about his life, is that he made such a mark on this world that he has pretty much became immortal in our minds. He will always continue on. But I'm still, as many people are, it's emotionally heavy having something like that happen to someone, and we never know what people go through. We really don't. But I will say I'm honored to even have experienced such a childhood with him being at the forefront of that, and I'm very thankful for that. And my thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his friends, and anybody else who's going through that emotionally heavy time with this happening. But he had a lot of accomplishments in his life, not only on starting out in martial arts and being an actor, having a pretty successful acting career, and then of course became an MMA fighter 2008 to 2010, and went 4-0 in his amateur career and 1-0 professionally. He defeated Jose Roberto Vasquez by submission in 2010. That was actually during a Texas cage fight, the Puro Combate 1. I hope I'm saying that correct. But just an amazing person all around. But I did not get the pleasure of meeting him one-on-one in person, but I did have the honor of going to the Big Lick Comic-Con maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, and Jason David Frank was there, and when he was speaking, like, the energy in the room, just, it was amazing to see. Not only the kids there, but the adults, more so than anything, were just tuned in and listening to him. And it's like, gosh, you literally were the highlight of so many people's childhoods. And it was just really neat to see that unfold and kind of play out during that particular event. Because cosplay, it's one thing, and I hate to go off on a tangent, but cosplay is something that really brings people together, and especially when you have a common memory that is pleasurable, like that made, I know for a lot of people, that was our childhood. Like, Power Rangers was so big, like it had an effect on our lives. But I think it's an amazing thing to be a part of nonetheless. Oh man. But yeah, Jason David Frank, you will be missed by many, loved continually and perpetually, still and forevermore a legend in the hearts of so many people. And I will say, once a Ranger, always a Ranger. Well, that is it for this episode, you guys. Thank you again for watching and listening. Yeah, thank you for supporting my channel. I look forward to many more videos, and stay cool.